Hello. Welcome to the Joe Monroe Show. I'm clearly not Joe Monroe. Due to legal dispute between Joe Monroe and Notorious ATB, as talked about earlier today on Facebook, I will be hosting the show. I'm not just the coolest. I'm not just the best. I'm just tan credible. Welcome to the show. We got a big one today. We're going to be talking about the best and worst ECW pay-per-views with a couple of great guests. So now we're going to get to the sponsors. Phenomenal Finds, ATL. Anything you need, sports, wrestling, they've got it. Phenomenal Finds, ATL.com. Please be sure to check them out. Also, Charms Photos. Crystal does great work, not only in pro wrestling, but in general. Definitely give her a shout. Give her a check out. And Les Murphy Painting. If you need anything painted at all, call Les Murphy Painting at 734-334-3702. And Red Ape Graphics by Crander Q, the man. He helped create a lot of great logos for us podcasters. He did Till Fives Wrestling. Great guy and even better graphics. Definitely check him out. And now I guess I have the unfortunate honor of bringing our first guest on. So, folks, from Till Five Wrestling, Notorious ATB.
I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring, and then I start eating garbage.
Till Five Wrestling has completed our hostile takeover of the Joe
Welcome to the show.
We don't have Benny Laurie and The Ruck and Connor Clarkson and Crander Q and all these other guys with beards that don't match Tanner's epic beauty. Look at that thing. Look at that. Okay? It's beautiful. Now, tonight, you've got Till Five in charge. We're bringing in Superfly Johnny Lee. We're bringing in Party Man Cam. And you know what? Let's just leave Mike off. He don't need to be here with us.
All right, man. I'm down with it. How you doing tonight, ATB?
I'm Peachy. Peachy King.
Peachy.
I'm wondering why Dave has not brought in our guest yet.
I'm not sure. Dave is not with it tonight.
Dave's not here, man. That's fine.
Dave's not here. All right. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
How you doing, man? It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Doing good. Just came off a hot week of MWA wrestling legends.
Great, man. Great. All right. Are you guys ready to talk about the best and worst ECW pay-per-views?
Yes.
What happened to Party Man Cam? Is he just like skipping out on us too?
He will be coming in a little bit later.
Yep, he's got that security job that he's been working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going to be with us a little bit later.
He basically did the same thing last night.
Professor Bear! Can we get Professor Bear in here?
Professor Bear says, hey, what the hell? Hey, Professor Bear. Welcome to TL5 Live on the Joe Monroe Show.
Look, Professor Bear is the only one that I feel bad we don't have with us. Those other guys, that's the job squad. They don't really matter.
Well, that's one man's opinion. So,
and everybody knows my opinion is wonderful.
That's what they say, Aaron.
But you know what the best thing about ECW pay-per-views is? The lack of women's wrestling.
I knew you'd have something to say about that.
The women's wrestling steals the show more often than the men's.
Oh my God, I don't care.
Uh-oh.
Wrestling doesn't steal the show unless it's time with Tony Storm.
Whatever you say there.
He's losing points for this.
All right, guys. All right. Let's stay on track here. So let's start with the worst first. Let's talk about the worst ECW pay-per-views. Aaron, or actually, Superfly Johnny Lee, I'll let you go first.
No one can beat this one. It's the one that's called December to Dismember. That was the stupidest thing that they could have done, was try to label that an ECW pay-per-view. Nothing about that was ECW, and it was the worst that they could have ever done underneath that brand. Because ECW, when it was ECW itself, they had damn good pay-per-views. Then you come to the new ECW, we get this crappy ass pay-per-view that's supposed to be homage to the original pay-per-view. November to the Dismember. I didn't like it. It was crap. Nothing about it. Treat ECW with respect.
Any particular match on that card that sticks out to you is just flat out terrible?
That Elimination Chamber bullshit that they pulled.
Yes, sir.
That was nothing about that. That was extreme. It was just pure crap for the sake of crap.
All right. Well, it looks like we have another guest coming on. So I guess we're going to go ahead and get him in. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Panther.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Hello, Joe Panther. Welcome to the show.
Hold your applause. Hold your applause. I just came in the room. Relax, guys. What's going on, gentlemen?
Welcome to the show, man. So we're talking about the worst ECW pay-per-views.
Oh, God.
Start the show.
Oh, my God.
Superfly Johnny Lee just had an answer.
There's some baddies. Oh, my gosh. I was just watching some stuff on Peacock like a few weeks ago. I would have to say, going back before they started doing all the extreme stuff, yeah, you'd ever go back and watch some of the oldies that they used to do back in the day, like the old stuff? Like, oh my gosh, there's some bad. I can't even think of. There's some bad ones there. There are some really, really bad. I'm so used to being on the top when I do my interviews. I'm like, I got demoted.
It's okay. You can be a bottom tonight.
Oh, dang it. Well, all right. I do.
Right,
yeah. Well,
any particular
Sorry.
Any particular just horrible ECW pay-per-view that comes to mind?
I'm gonna do the one that WWE tried to make the one night stand when they tried to bring the people back, but then they added the WWE wrestlers to the card, and it was just like, what are you doing? This is not ECW. This is Kool-Aid. This is watered down 90s Kool-Aid version of ECW. And then they tried to add the WWE superstars in the rafters, and Paul Heyman was trying to do like a one night only roast like they do on Comedy Central on them boys. And it's just like, but then you can't, you have to laugh. Paul Heyman went after JBL.
Right.
That famous joke he did on JBL, that was like the joke you see on every meme on TikTok, on the TikTok, as my buddy would say on Ghost Head Nerd Talk. TikTok. You know the meme I'm talking about? He went after JBL and he was like, oh! Like,
The only reason he became world champion is because Triple H didn't want to work on Tuesdays or Thursdays or whatever day they were taping EC.
That was the big line, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Aaron. I guess that brings us to you. What do you think is the worst ECW pay-per-view?
Gosh, it's tough to pick just one. Probably the Holiday Hell 2000. Since we're going to start out with Chili Willy. And then your main event's going to be Steve Corino, The Sandman, and Just Incredible, which put together, there's like one good wrestler out of those three. So, yeah, that's probably the worst. It's also the only one that I know of that had C.W. Anderson actually get a win on pay-per-view because he beat Super Crazy. And we all know that C.W. Anderson's pretty much garbage. So.
Exactly.
Well, I actually...
Shut the hell up!
I also have a pick from the year 2000 as worst ECW pay-per-views. I went with Living Dangerously 2000. That show had some decent points in it, but altogether is just a really horrible put-together show. It's just a complete cluster. You've got a television title tournament going on during the show. A lot of matches into no contest. You've got Vic Grimes versus New Jack, and we all know how that turns out anytime that happens.
Yikes.
You've got right in the middle of the card, the third match on the card for the ECW World Championship was Mike Awesome versus Kid Cash. I mean, what a joke. Third match of the night. Right in the middle, no order whatsoever.
That was stupid.
Also, Aaron, just so you know, C.W. Anderson in the year 2000 was doing pretty good because he got a big win on this card too, teaming with Bill Wiles as the new Dangerous Alliance against Roadkill and Danny Doring.
Also in that new Dangerous Alliance was nepotism baby Eric Watts.
There you go. Briefly. But
But
yes.
if you want to talk about New Jack and Vic Grimes, why don't we talk about the company that did ECW somehow worse than ECW did, and XPW?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Said the words. I'm scared that I may Rob Black may pop through my window like the Raptor in Jurassic Park. Good.
No kidding.
If he does, he's just showing up to put you on one of his Skinamax things.
But you know, I interviewed his little thing there. His wifey for the moment. You know who that is.
Yeah,
I had her on the pod. She's a really nice person. Actually, she's a good interview. She has a lot of things to say. Some crazy, but she's with.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at how bad some of those ECW ripoffs were, you realize just exactly how talentless some of the ECW stars were.
Yeah.
And you got Sandman and Johnny Webb for the world title. No, not world title. Sandman and Supreme for the world title.
Poor Supreme.
Yeah.
When you're putting Sandman in the main event of your shows, you might as well go get the drunk at 7-Eleven to show up.
I encountered Sandman. He's not a nice person. Like,
really?
Horrible to say this. I was in a PPW in Slatington, Pennsylvania. He was signing autographs. And I was like, hey, man, how you doing? He was like, eh. And then he shooed me away. And I was just saying hi. I guess he got scared of the red glass. Maybe he saw his reflection. Sorry, he saw his future through the red glasses. He was like, no, he's wearing glasses with lenses.
He was probably sober.
Yeah, he came out to the
He's
ring. He turned to me. He gave the beer to the kid next to me that looked like he was more than 19 years old. I'm 40. And then went around the ring and then came straight at me like Jason with the axe during like this. And he was about to give me the cane. And I'm like, again, is it the
He thought you were Dudley. That's what it is. He was like, it's Mustache Dudley.
Yeah.
Famous
I'm almost the same size as Spike. And I'm bald like Spike now. So maybe they thought I was Spike Dudley in disguise. I don't know.
That might be it.
That definitely could be it.
I don't know.
It definitely looks like I'm on the show with 3 Dudley boys right now.
You know what's funny? That's originally where I got the idea wearing the cool glasses, because I went on Facebook and I found a video of me with black glasses. I did this, and I was like, "Bam! That's where the glasses came from." But they weren't red.
Now I'm moving to Dudleyville.
Don't forget they had a sign guy in Dudley and a Big Dick Dudley.
I guess Joe would be our sign guy.
There you go.
He'd be mad. He'd be like, "I'm not sign guy."
Sandman wasn't a great wrestler, but him drinking was basically his niche. That's what got him endeared to the ECW fandom. Go! Go!
You know, Aaron was talking about non-ECW tribute pay-per-views slightly. And one of the worst ones that spring to mind to that is TNA Hardcore Justice.
Yeah.
Where they literally had everybody so out of shape working horrific matches against each other.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good tribute at all. It almost felt like it was just a cash grab.
I feel like maybe the whole EV2 storyline wasn't an ECW tribute as much as it was a tribute to the legendary match from WCW's Bash at the Beach, that great Junkyard Invitational. Like it was a tribute to that.
But with horrible ECW people that weren't in shape.
The bottom of the barrel of the ECW roster.
Yep.
And they thought, well, we can't get Blue Meanie. He can't make it tonight. So there's another heavyset guy in the crowd. We'll just paint his hair blue and he'll work.
Yep. Blue Meanie.
how are your feelings, guys, about Jason Knight? Because I met the man. He lives in the town I live in. He's not a bad guy, but
I like
The
Jay.
sexiest man alive, Jason Knight.
Jason Knight. Hey, if you pay him, he'll come on your show. He's a good guy. He
Really?
lives in my town, you know.
Yeah.
Note that, Aaron.
Yes, good guy.
You
He
think
sits
I'm
down
gonna
for
pay
interviews.
for an ECW guy?
And Gary Wolf.
He lives in my town of Milford, PA, so he's on Facebook. You could hit him up. Maybe
I'm
do it.
And Gary
I'm a
Wolf
big
was on my-
Impact Players fan.
I have a picture. I gotta find it. I'll have to send it to you guys later. It's in front of my store, and it's at an event, a car show we were doing, and he just walked by. I'm like, "Hey, Jason, what's up?" And he's like, "Everybody's like, you know Jason Knight?" I'm like, it felt like that Epstein in the Sandlot, and it's like, oh, you know him? Yeah. It's like at the end of the movie when he's like, the kid realized he knows Babe Ruth. He's like, you know Babe Ruth, and he's like, huh? He says, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, it was like that scene at the end of the Sandlot, and I'm like, him? It's nothing. It's just like that.
Johnny, what were you saying about Pitbull Gary Wolf?
He lives in Florida, and he does make the trip down here to Kentucky.
Okay. Right. He works a lot on the indies still.
Yep.
Well,
He
we all
killed
know
Kentucky, too.
the real franchise of ECW. He does all kinds of stuff around Ashland, Kentucky, and West Virginia. I guess he must work at like the local Target up there or something. But yeah,
Professor Barron says it was a cash grab. Talking,
That's
I
right.
assume he's talking about TNA Hardcore Justice. That's absolutely correct.
Because there ain't no way that they could tell us that was to pay tribute to ECW if they were pulling the bottom of the barrel into that show when they could have been trying to find the guys that could actually work.
I mean, they got some great workers that were pretty decent workers in 1999, but when they decided to run the pay-per-view in 2010, some of those guys hadn't worked much.
Exactly. They didn't.
Yeah.
They bring in guys that were still working at around that time that were good.
Well, all those guys were still signed to WWE and other companies.
no,
And
look,
that's why it's so bad, because had to run that tribute, and they knew that most of the guys that could work were over there in WWE. If
dead.
I would have waited.
I will acknowledge that most of those guys were past their prime at that point. But really, for the careers and the stuff that they wrestled, they actually held their own pretty well, considering it had been 9 years since ECW. Even I'm not going to crap on the Hardcore Justice pay-per-view that much, except for the fact that they did go out and get bottom of the barrel C.W. Anderson on it.
I'll give you that.
I guess Dave found the audio buttons.
Dave has returned from the abyss.
I'm so lazy. I gotta get myself an audio track for my show. Me and my buddies are always Ghost Head Nerd Talk, always joking at it because my friend, she has a husky, and I'm like, you just gotta record a sound bite of your dog like getting in a fight with you, and just have it just like someone does something and have the dog go like no.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh jeez.
Breaking news.
Well, Benny, hey, where'd it go? Where did it go? There it is. Breaking news. Story. Oh, now we know why Joe Monroe wasn't able to make it. He's a little too worn out from handling Benny last night.
Shut up! Oh my God, I don't care!
Dave?
Oh my God, you guys are crazy.
All right, Aaron, what's your breaking news?
Oh, just that we've taken over and that Joe's going to have to deal with it from now on.
That's right. Here we are.
Just wait. You just wait. If Joe can find his balls and make it back for next week's episode, I will make sure to give him a proper welcome back since he's missed this great ECW episode.
Oh my God!
I'm just gonna say that here's a little teaser. That is the FB from Nunzio.
There you go. I don't know if you guys saw it, but a couple weeks ago, Aaron destroyed a Nunzio autograph live on the ECW show.
Oh my gosh! What did?
Yeah.
Okay, when we're done with the show, what did the Italian boy do to you to kill an autograph picture of Nunzio?
He just sucks.
Okay.
Like most of here's the thing. I like Tanner, so I can't mess with his autographs. But my ECW ones that I have ended up getting given to me as bonus items, they came in handy during COVID because I needed toilet paper. So, well.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, we definitely have to talk about the passing of Kevin Sullivan.
That's a great point, Professor Bear. Horrible to hear about the passing of the legendary Kevin Sullivan.
I was sad.
Taskmaster.
I mean, I knew he was sick for a while, but it didn't make it any easier.
Shout to his family.
Absolutely.
Condolences to them.
I will say, in the post that I made about it for the Till 5 page, when you really think about it and keep it in storyline, he succeeded in what he set out, and he ended Hulkamania.
Oh, yeah.
Because Hulk Hogan became Hollywood after the Taskmaster and the Dungeon of Doom and the Horseman and Ultimate Solution and all the other goofies. Loch Ness teamed up to take him on, So he did what no one else could do. He broke Hulk Hogan. Even Sheiky couldn't break Hulk Hogan.
You thought it was going to happen.
He tried to
make him break his back and make him humble. That's right, Johnny Lee.
Speaking of humble,
speaking as well, we lost him.
Yeah, we've lost the Sheik this year.
Yeah,
we've lost Terry Funk. One of the best ones.
Funk's a big one for me.
Funk story.
Funk is the legend. He is the hardcore wrestling legend.
That's
Dory's wrestling a match this year in Japan.
Yep.
At a Terry Funk Memorial Show.
Dory wanted it to be a death match. So did Mick Foley, because Mick Foley was trying to train for a death match.
Luckily, it's a 6-man death match.
Well, Terry lost.
We've lost a lot of great legends.
Yeah.
Now, Terry is one of the few ECW guys I actually like, and Tanner's heard me say that for years.
Terry's the man. There can't be anybody that doesn't like Terry. I mean, that guy worked his ass off his entire career.
He did.
And put people over when he got older. Put everybody over in ECW.
He's the reason why Mick Foley became what he was, because he idolized Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Our guy Leon Lexington could do a hell of a Terry Funk impression about the night when he got choke slammed out of his shoes.
Wow.
And that's actually some smartness on Terry, because he saw that Foley was getting up, so he immediately called audible, gets into Undertaker's space. They have an argument for a moment. That he gets choke slammed out of his shoes, and that gives Foley enough time to recover his bearings a little bit.
Two awesome guys right there. Hard and Soft podcast.
Absolutely. They said Terry Funk, and I just want to say one thing. Terry Funk ain't wearing no mouthpiece. That's another thing you can say about Terry Funk.
Folks, see, we live on the farm. We got to get shit
done. There you go.
Jay Briscoe as well.
Terry Funk ain't wearing no mouthpiece.
Terry Funk ain't wearing no mouthpiece.
Yeah, Kurt Angle.
All right, guys. So let's get back into the closing bits here on the worst ECW pay-per-views. Anybody else got anything else that comes to mind when you're talking about just the worst of ECW?
Hardcore Homecoming.
You can say that for pretty much any of the tribute shows, with the exception of One Night Stand 2005, the first one.
Look, I don't hate 2006 was pretty solid too.
I understand why Joe Panther chose that to be one of his worst, because I get his point about WWE superstars being there, and it just did not feel like ECW.
It was that watered down Kool-Aid your papa would make. Your mom makes the best one. Come on. Watered down bullshit. Sorry.
But I will say that John Cena versus Rob Van Dam in the main event, seeing the visual of Cena in the ECW arena in the main event was insanity.
That's right. That's actually perfect too, because John Cena, they said if he wins, we ride. And the perfect way to end it, Edge spears him through a table, and RVD gets that win, and he's now ECW champion and WWE champion.
Because it wasn't.
Everybody wants to think about how good the RVD and Cena stuff was. I've got to say, even though the finish was garbage, Sabu and Mysterio was a banger of a match too.
Absolutely, but that was a horrible ending.
Yeah,
it was. But if we
killed that whole match.
Speaking of horrible endings, you also got to talk about the Eddie Guerrero and He Who Shall Not Be Named match, because Eddie Guerrero felt that at that time when they were booking him to lose, it was coming off of his heel turn on Ray when he was starting the I'm Your Papi storyline. So he basically self-sabotaged the match, but at the same time, the match was all right. It was decent, but to him, he fucked the entire match up completely because he was pissed off with what they wanted him to do. And I can't blame the man. And that was from ECW One Night Stand 2005, which was top to bottom one of the best that they could have done, because you had Paul Heyman dressed down those sons of bitches inside the fucking thing up there, and then you had the brawl that ended all ECW beating the hell out of the WWF guys.
I have a thing from our other side mod, Mr. Joe. It says that was 05. I got I got the Dr. Xavier sent me information in my brain that it was 05. There you go, Joe. Sorry.
That's what you said.
There you go.
The 05 pick.
And now, a word from our other sponsors. Don't forget, with this QR code, you can catch some amazing items from the Joe Monroe shop, like a Joe Monroe mug, a Joe Monroe shirt, a Joe Monroe hat. Not really a big fan of the hat. Not really a big fan of Joe Monroe. So go there, check it out. But you know what you can find on there? You can find some Till 5 wrestling merchandise, t-shirts and coffee mugs. Our friends over at the Eldridge and Monroe Horror Show are going to be catching up with everybody at Scarefest. They're going to be there. Hey, yeah, I can see it's popping around the corners. It's cute. Scarefest is going to have our friends there who like to talk about horror movies that don't include Joe Monroe talking about wrestling. That's a horror movie that all of us have to deal with weekly, except for this week, and you're welcome. There it is, the Eldridge and Monroe Horror Show. And we also have a new sponsorship with SeatGeek, thanks to our friends Benny and Jeff the Ruck. You can use code Jeff the Ruck to get 20% or $20 off your purchase. Not 20%, $20. My bad. Dave's sending these out. We've just took over, so I'm not as warmed up with these as Joe Monroe Gainwood.
Hey, what's up, Johnny? Hey, you guys, check out my little pop. I got a pop of myself. Look at that. Someone made that.
And there it is
again.
That's awesome.
Somebody made me
that. Looks really good.
Made me that. I was like, I'm so honored. She popped me. Ow, I got popped by a girl.
Alan Hill says, Joe who? Well, that's right. This is my first time host of a wrestling podcast here, and we are going to keep it running. This is all completely on the fly, a show that was put together on the fly. So here we are.
I am pretty cool. Thanks. I try.
If you can see it.
Oh, wow.
It is an Aaron Funko that my darling wife got me. And he's actually got a video game controller and 2 kittens with him.
Who's Joe Monroe? Wow, Joe's getting roasted tonight. Hey, I am a pretty cool guy. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Joe Panther III.
Is that the Jane who thinks that I hate all women's wrestling?
Probably.
I
One of our
interviewed a
members.
lot of women's wrestlers, so check out the
I
Joe
don't
Panther
think-
Variety Show.
Let's just clear this up since Joe's not here to mute me. I don't hate all women's wrestling. Not
jeez.
funny, Dave. Not funny, Dave.
Dave's still here.
I don't hate all women's wrestling. I love Timeless Tony Storm.
Well, Jane, you don't know who we are because we are brand new, but you know who we are now, so welcome to the show.
Yeah.
So in the first part, we talked about the worst ECW pay-per-views, and there was a lot of them. But now, let's finish on a high. Let's talk about the best ECW pay-per-views.
Wow, that'd be fun.
Superfly Johnny Lee, we'll start with you.
If you want to check out my
Heat
podcast.
Wave. That's from 1997. I'd have to say that was one of ECW's best pay-per-views that they ran.
Any particular high point of that for you?
Definitely the main event, but also you got to count top to bottom. Every match on that card was a banger.
Okay. Joe Panther, what do you think? Best ECW pay-per-view?
Best, I would
Yes, sir.
say Barely Legal. I forgot the year I was watching. It was like one of the Barely Legals I was watching on Peacock. I was scared out of my mind. But the one thing made me laugh, New Jack came out and they gave them this generic hip hop song. It was like,
Yeah.
I didn't get mad. I was like, in my head, I went on Instagram and I went to the music. You know how they have the music on there for the reels.
Right.
I started playing his theme song on Instagram. I started playing his song. I started just adding my song. I muted the TV and I started doing this when he came out. And I was moving to the way he was moving. So I was like moving to his beat. I was like, I'm not going to play the song now because I don't want to give you guys a copyright strike because that's mean.
Man, the dub.
You don't need another one of those, do we, Benny? Do we, Benny?
I got one for no freaking reason a few weeks ago with Ghost Head
Yeah,
Nerd
that
Cup. We
happened.
never played music. We didn't. The one thing we did was we talked about the new Deadpool Wolverine movie.
It's a really good movie.
Valerie put on she wore my buddy Val, she wore it in the whole episode. She wore a Deadpool mask. 90% of the episode.
Disney.
Okay.
Yes, Joe. Yes, it's Natural Born Killers. Yes, I was playing it like this. Like I was rocking it around. Because my mom didn't walk by. I should have been like, what are you doing? I could see Joe dancing in his living room listening to the song. Going to be
You
weird.
know, the dubbed music on the ECW Peacock is crazy. The worst offender to me is Sandman's theme. Instead of Enter Sandman, you've got just the most generic 90s grunge sounding rock song you've ever heard.
Do you know what they did to Jericho in WCW? And they give
No.
on there. They give him
I
the
haven't
break
seen
the
that.
walls down, break the walls down song. On one pay-per-view, they kept giving him that it sounded like the song he had. But then the one pay-per-view that I think it was like Halloween Havoc or Bash at the Beach or whatever it was, they gave him break the walls down. I'm like,
Speaking of Halloween Havocs, how does everybody feel about Eddie and Rey Mysterio? Oh, Travis Bird is actually chiming in tonight. Joe Monroe is the Hornswoggler podcast.
That's what they say.
I mean, that's giving him more notoriety than he deserves. Let's be honest.
That's the word on the street. My new favorite Joe is Joe Panther.
yeah, yo. 'Cause
I think
believe in Joe Panther.
Joe Monroe is like the El Torito of podcasting,
No, he's like the brother from Weird Science.
in that he needs to start wearing a mask and do us all a favor.
After they turn him into the frog in Weird Science in the movie.
Now, my personal favorite ECW pay-per-view. One Night Stand 2005.
Okay.
Rey Mysterio and Psychosis. Sabu and Rhino because RVD wasn't able to wrestle. Benoit and Guerrero.
What about
And
Mike Awesome?
Mike Awesome and Masato Tanaka.
Tanaka.
I grew up a WCW guy,
WCW.
so I didn't watch a lot of ECW. but I actually enjoyed Awesome and Tanaka's match enough that I made sure to go back and watch some of their matches.
That's great. Jane
And
says,
yeah,
I remember back when we used to save ECW pay-per-views over Mama's crappy VHS tapes. Good times. There you go.
Yeah.
And then your mom
That's
finds
way
you
back
taped
then.
over her favorite tape of Designing Women, and she tries to murder you.
I think Just Tan may have a good VHS tape to talk about right here.
I do, guys. Actually, let me grab that real quick.
While he's doing that, yes, most women's wrestling does sound kind of like Skinner
Begone,
match
vile man! Begone from me!
because they moan and groan.
Wrestling.
I don't think that they need to moan and groan like they do. But check that out.
Nice.
That's an original
Original-
copy. The Notorious ATB got that for me. That is Enter the Sandman, the global distributors. Very, very rare and signed by Sandman. Aaron won that for $1.
Yeah, because it's
$1.
ECW.
Their loss is
You're
my
welcome,
gain
Joe.
because I will buy it.
Anytime, Joe. Sounds like I'm talking in echo. Joe. It's like
Thank
when
you,
we
Joe.
do the show, it's echo. It's like an echo show. Joe, yes, Joe. Yes, Joe. I'm like,
Blame COVID all you want. Your voice still works. You just know that you can't be on here this week after the letter that you got.
mm.
I feel like Jane is not exactly my biggest fan, but that's okay. I don't know who she is either.
Well,
Jane, if you want to
she is
subscribe to my
a she's
YouTube
a
channel,
woman.
just have to just take a little.
You're gonna
fun
like
break.
it, Jane.
Okay.
Trust me on that.
I'll tell you what,
Side screen
Jane,
Joe variety show.
comment on any of the Joe Monroe or Till 5 posts with a match, and I will watch it, and I will, if I'm wrong, I will openly admit it next week. I won't make any stupid apologies for you because I
I
don't
heard it
know.
here
Watching
first.
the women's wrestling match from 2015 to now.
I've seen a couple, and some of them have been good matches.
You got to see
A lot of
Jazz,
them have
man.
been shows
Jazz
that
is
just
Jazz
make
is an awesome. That's
the
another
men
one that
look
they fucked up
bad.
her music in ECW on Peacock. I
Really
forgot
like,
what they give her.
I really do like AEW's women's wrestling
Ras.
because I feel like they're actually wrestling more than the way that WWE presents theirs as safer divas. And I know they're better now than they were 10 years ago, but I still don't feel it is as authentic as the men's matches. I'll put it that way.
Well, we're going to get off that topic because of last week. It was nonstop controversy for us. So I'm going to talk about my favorite ECW pay-per-view now in this time, which is Heatwave 1998.
Oh yeah, another good one.
The highlights from that show definitely include Just Incredible versus Jerry Lynn.
Love me some Just Incredible.
Man, anytime you put Just Incredible and Jerry Lynn in the ring together, it was going to be awesome.
Love me some Jerry Lynn.
You had Lance Storm versus Chris Candido, one of my personal favorite matches of all time.
Yeah,
I am a die-hard Chris Candido fan. Also on that, you have one of the Masato Tanaka versus Mike Awesome matches. Always a treat.
They always had bangers anytime they
Always
fought
a
each
treat.
other.
Taz versus Bam Bam Bigelow on that show.
That's
what
a
a
good
great
one.
match.
Is that the famous when he falls through the ring?
I think that might be it. They wrestled a few times. I'm not exactly for sure on that one, Joe.
That was creepy. And they actually, I watched a special how they did that whole spot.
Really?
Yeah, and Taz said he was scared that he was going to catch his neck when he went into the ring.
Guarantee it.
He was like,
also, you had Dreamer, Sandman, and Spike Dudley versus the Dudleys. Bubba Ray, Devon, and Big Dick Dudley. And that was a great hardcore match.
Yep.
But the winner of them all to me, and the most notable match of Heatwave 1998 for me, is Rob Van Dam and Sabu versus Jinsei, Shinzaki, and Hayabusa in one of the most electrifying tag team matches you will ever see in your life.
R.I.P. to Hayabusa.
Absolutely. I mean, just some great wrestlers on that card. You know, ECW gets a lot of flack for being known for just hardcore wrestling. A lot of excellent in-ring bell-to-bell wrestlers on that card in Heatwave 98.
A lot of people don't even realize the ECW is more than just extreme. They were
That's right.
diverse They had wrestling, they had pure wrestling, they had technical wrestling, submission wrestling, hardcore wrestling, and of
To
course, you had
me,
Jack and his murderous intent.
it was the most versatile wrestling promotion, especially of the time. And they had a little bit of everything, and they, got lucha wrestling over in the States pretty big before WCW snatched all those guys up.
Yeah.
Plus, you had Joey Styles being a one-man commentary team himself.
Man, Joey was great. We could do a whole episode just about Joey.
Especially his, oh my God.
And when he would flip out about things, oh my God.
It made you believe it. That's the difference between they trying to have something to do with one-man commentary team and Joey Styles back in doing it all by himself, being the first one to do it.
You know what's funny?
And then when they...
Sorry. Come on.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
No, finish. I didn't mean to do that to you. Just you.
I was gonna say that
thing. I'll go after you.
Even when they brought in Don Callis or Cyrus the Virus to be his commentator with him, man, they played off each other so well.
Yep.
Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
He also proved that he was good with Jerry King Lawler because he made you believe that he is really pissed the fuck off with Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, the ECW commentators, Joey Styles always is my go-to, like, end-all be-all hardcore wrestling commentators. But when we go back to XPW, the commentators from XPW, that guy, they had the Spanish guy and the white guy. Oh my God! Like high-pitched voice. Oh my God! I still have flashbacks of watching the cassette tapes in my room, and my friend always wanted to have the volume on 20. And they get to the moments by like Supreme, and the guy like, get out of my residence. My RA's like, boom, boom, boom. What are you guys watching in there? Wrestling? Is that what they call it nowadays, Joe? Sounds like some girl squealing. Well, whoopsie. Damn you, asshole. Damn you, asshole.
Friends of the Squared Circle says Joe Monroe is a bum. Make that decision on your own. That is for everyone to decide on their own.
He's nice to me. He invited me on the show with you guys.
Absolutely. They definitely reinvented the cruiser division, bringing guys like Psychosis and Juventud and Eddie and Benoit and Malenko into the company.
Did they reinvent it or did they embrace the cruiserweight division?
They embraced it.
That's a fair point.
Because Liger and Pillman were in WCW before ECW existed, and that was cruiserweight. The hell up! Dave?
Oh no.
Well, Dave is a great guy. We love him dearly, and he's a great producer.
Yeah, Dave is as great of a guy as the professor is an educator.
He's the most quiet guy.
Man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring, and then I start eating garbage.
Sounds like my former co-host.
Sounds like my current co-host.
That sounds like my former.
That sounds like commentary for any Joe Monroe match. Maybe that's why Austin Diamond cracked him in the head with that kendo stick so real and made him dyslexic.
All right, now guys, is there any other
roast to Joe Monroe tonight? Is this his birthday or something? Like we all
no, that'll come later.
Yeah, but we'll get there. Don't worry.
So, is there any other notable ECW pay-per-views that you think we are worth talking about tonight, guys? Probably should ask the question.
Some notable TNA pay-per-views we can talk about. You guys want to talk about those?
About Hardcore Justice. I think we've had enough.
Be gone, vile man! Be gone from me!
Unbreakable 2005. Let's talk about how great that main event was. Or how about the fact that they had two ECW legends fighting for the NWA title?
That's true.
And it was a really good match. And apparently Raven did not give a shit that it didn't get the main event because it just meant he got to leave a little early.
Exactly.
Worked out for everybody.
I asked him that the first convention I ever went to, how he felt about having what would have been his only TNA pay-per-view main event taken away from him, and he was like, I don't care, I got paid the same.
Really? Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
He played it smart, got his bag, and went home.
Raven Man for the money. You heard it here first from the Notorious ATB.
As long as you're getting paid, who cares what spot on the card you are?
ECW is what helped Raven reinvent himself, because before that he was Johnny Flamingo.
The best reinvention there's ever been in wrestling is
absolutely
Johnny Flamingo becoming Johnny Polo and then becoming Raven.
Yep.
And then taking it up a notch in TNA once he got out of WWE, and still doing the same Raven character, but making it even better and keeping it fresh.
How about that head shave?
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
I think I preferred him when he had hair.
I don't know why he did that. Like, why did he shave his head? Did they ever say why?
He wanted to cut it. But
Raven had a lot of different hairstyles and colors through the years. He probably just needed a good reset.
I like the Raven with the black hair.
What about when he became Stevie Richards' bitch during that time with Steve Richards and Daphne and Abyss? It's a shake-up.
He wasn't a bitch. He was like a mentor. Because Raven was, even at that point, not able to go like he should have been.
Yep.
He's still trying, though.
Yeah, he was still coming out there. Raven is one of the few guys that has managed to put over people everywhere he's gone and never lost his aura.
That's true.
He's also had great theme songs, too.
Hmm? I would argue that if it wasn't for Raven's help, CM Punk would not have gotten the rocket to the WWE that he did, because that entire Ring of Honor rivalry that Punk and Raven had put him on the map, especially when you think that Raven put him with the Gathering in TNA, which helped elevate him on the South, the North, everywhere. So everyone was talking about this CM Punk kid.
I totally agree. I think without Raven, CM Punk maybe would have never got to the level that he got to.
I wouldn't go that far.
I think I would, man.
I think he would have gotten there, just not as quickly as he did.
I mean, just think about it. For the last 8 years when he was gone completely from wrestling, the fans, there's only one person that they chant for, CM Punk. The man more than earned his way into it.
Oh, yeah.
Basically helped out that motivation into WWE.
Cody Rhodes was a big fan of saying do the work. No one has done the work as much as CM Punk did to get noticed.
Exactly. And there's been many that have tried, and they just couldn't get noticed.
What did you...
I have to, help educate tonight. I'm an associate professor at Jericho at the Learning Tree University, so I'm just here to help.
My one last little thing, my last rivalry, I still can't get out of my head was the Tommy Dreamer Raven rivalry. That rivalry always has a spot in my heart in hardcore wrestling, because that famous moment when he's on the cage.
I was about to mention that. The crucifixion of Sandman.
Like the guy on the cross, and I'm just like...
It was grade A story perfection to have Sandman's family involved as well. Being Raven's brainwashed son and woman now, while making Sandman have to watch in anger.
5 missed kendo stick shots to the back of his head.
5 missed ones? Jeez. What are you, a stormtrooper?
That's about accurate.
Man, that was
Was he drunk? Well...
That was a hell of a storyline. I mean, really, everything Raven did in ECW turned to gold. He could have worked with anybody in the company, and he could have made it work. The guy was a genius. And truthfully, Paul Heyman's storytelling and ideas, if they would have had a money man to control the finances of ECW, it could have gone way, way farther.
It also sucks what WCW did when Raven finally goes to WCW, and they did nothing with his entire run.
So I kind of think Raven's WCW run's hilarious.
It
If
is.
Paul Heyman had been given Ted Turner's checkbook like Eric Bischoff did, we wouldn't have watched WWE SummerSlam last weekend. It would have been ECW Heatwave.
So, what do you guys think?
100%.
Let's give you guys this last opinion. Do you guys think that GCW is the new ECW, or is that another extreme world at all?
I would
It's
personally,
tough to
I would think it's closer to the CZW area.
Yeah.
You know, ECW was extreme, but it didn't. Barbed wire was sometimes as far as ECW would go,
and they didn't really use that many light tubes.
Now, as far as the versatility of talent on a GCW show, you could easily make a case for that being a direct tribute to ECW, the way that they book their shows.
GCW is the Kmart version of ECW.
Oh, jeez. Kmart?
I mean, I'm not saying that to shit on them. I'm really not. It has an audience. It tries to be what ECW used to be like, and it fails, but it still has an audience that loves it. So they're not quite Walmart, but they'll do in a pinch.
Jesus. Oh my God.
They do got personality to them.
Now, what I think, speaking of ECW having Ted Turner's budget, I feel like that's a lot of what we get with AEW, except all of the guys are smaller than you would expect a star to be.
Yeah, but their storylines drop too easy.
I don't know that they drop easy. I just think they drag them out too long. And they're ripping off the crucifixion of Sandman. You look at the crucifixion of Jack Perry. Like, I get
That was
it.
the lamest one that I've seen so far. Trying to recreate something that didn't need to be recreated.
Well, how about this week's Jack Perry hating Taco Bell commercials moment? Did you guys notice it?
That was the weirdest shit that I've ever seen. A commercial
that popped me big time while I was on the couch.
What about Swerve and Hangman Page starting their feud off with something that should have ended the feud? A Texas
See,
Death
I totally agree. As great as that Texas Death Match was, that should have 100% ended the feud. And only a Mark running the ship would do something like that.
Exactly, because he ran it backwards.
That shit I would do on a video game.
Here's the thing: he's got enough money that he can do that.
Yeah, but it's stupid because it needs to be structured and logical, and that wasn't logical because they start out with the Texas Death Match and then they continue the feud.
You're looking at the problem is that when you say stuff like that, we're looking at it from what we know about the wrestling business point of view. We expect it to tell the story. That's not what Tony Khan is not trying to make a successful business. He's having fun with wrestling.
That's why
if I was a billionaire, I'm pretty sure I would be putting on goofy matches every week too.
I'd want to make money off it.
He doesn't need it.
Don't matter. If you're going to run a business like that and you got all this talent, you got all this great people that you can have good storylines with, good wrestling with, you're going to want to make money because even if you don't need it, a little extra cash doesn't hurt nobody.
Look, man, as long as the wrestlers are getting paid and everybody's happy, I don't see a problem with it.
As long as the checks don't bounce and Tony Khan's the one paying for it all, I don't care what he does with it.
We can watch Tony Khan's toy box every week.
Yep. And especially since Nigel McGuinness is getting a paycheck because he deserves a lot of those.
Yes, sir.
So did Heyman ever pay back those wrestlers? He never paid back when they did that ECW special that they talked about how Heyman never paid anybody back.
I would imagine not.
Good women's wrestling, Dave. Support good women's wrestling. That's right.
I interviewed a lot of them in the indie scene.
I'll say this: I am a huge fan of Daphne from back in the day. I loved Daphne. So I've not always hated on women's wrestling. I just hate the moan and groan version that WWE puts out. I guess that's probably a better aspect of it. It's
You mean
not
the
all
version
women's
they
wrestling I have an issue with.
good ones?
Do what?
You mean the version that WWE's doing before we start getting the good wrestling? Because the moan and groan that you're talking about is the one where they do bra and panty matches,
You get the
nonsensical
moan,
evening gown matches, that
you will
whole
still get a
fancy
lot of the
pillow
moan
talk.
and groans today out of WWE's women's match.
Man, really, NXT women's matches are freaking awesome right now.
Yes,
I don't
they
know if
are.
anybody's checked any of that out, but they've got some excellent wrestlers down in
NXT
NXT right now.
Okay. Point for Tan. Point for Tan.
Looks like I'm staying on the show, pal.
Well, no shit. Why do you think you have the responsibility of hosting it? Like, I could get it when Joe's not on here. But
I'm
I
more
couldn't.
mature than you, and everyone else in line happened to either be sick or not be available tonight. So 5 pegs down the line was me. So it fell into my lap.
5 pegs down Joe Monroe's line, you showed up.
You were doing what with Joe's peg? What?
Should have chose some better words. On that note, let's close out on that one. We will start with Superfly Johnny Lee. What do you got going on, Johnny? Tell the fans.
Well, next week we got 2 shows. We continue our NWA Wrestling Appreciation Month because we're going to have Legends Wednesday and Thursday night. Barry's going to get back with me. He's going to let me know what legends we're going to be bringing on. I'm going to make the flyer and I'm going to set it up. And after that, we're going to continue on because we got NWA month for this month. And we're probably going to do a second month because there's so much to learn, so much to teach, so much to listen to. It's going to be a hell of a month. So tune in to the Nice Game Podcast and the Rinky Dink Bullshit Podcast.
All right. Joe Panther?
And this Sunday, I have a really awesome female wrestler from the New York City, like that area, Dolly Darko. It will be joining me live.
Nice.
All right.
You know who Dolly Darko is?
Yeah.
NYWC and awesome promotions on the East Coast. She'll be with me live, LIVE, in the Joe Panther Variety Show, and also on Facebook. Come hang out with me and Dolly, and we'll be playing with our dolls and talking about stories. And actually, didn't happen today because she had something happening. I will be interviewing the freaking queen of hardcore wrestling, the one and only Mickey fucking Knuckles.
I knew who you were talking about as soon as you said the queen.
Very nice.
And we'll be working on it. Mickey Knuckles will be hanging out with me on the Dudes at Ringside podcast. Date to be announced when this will air. Not too sure when if I'm going to ask her if she wants to go live. If she wants to go live, I will give you guys their dates. I will send the poster and tell Joe, pump the episode. And if you guys want to pop in to ask Mickey Knuckles questions, I will tell Joe. You guys, I don't want to overwhelm more questions, but if you guys want to join me, I'll tell her, hey, ask her if she want to be okay. It'll be okay. More people come in and ask her questions. But it's Mickey fucking Knuckles will be joining me on the Dudes at Ringside podcast.
That's
if you
awesome.
want to check me out, subscribe. Check me out on the Joe Panther Variety Show on YouTube. Every week we have a new guest. This month is UK Wrestling Month. I represent the peeps from the UK. There's a lot of wrestling in the UK and the indie scene that is undiscovered that you guys should definitely just check it out. Look up UK Wrestling and you could find some banging wrestlers. This month you should just check out some of my interviews I did so far.
Check out someone like Lana Austin in the UK wrestling scene.
Yeah.
She does a hell of a job.
There's a female wrestler you should look up. Her name is Alfie. She's from the UK. She's like a hardcore wrestler in the UK. She uses chairs. If they like in the promotion I used to check out CPW, Coventry Pro, they're the cutesy girls. I want to be hardcore. They're like, Alfie, you want to teach this girl why she shouldn't be doing this? And they'll send her with Alfie. Alfie's another good one. She has a bear. She put the chains inside the bear.
Nice.
Yeah, check me out on YouTube, Joe Panther Variety Show. Thank you guys. This was great.
Thanks, man. I know this was a complete cluster. I appreciate you guys still coming on. Aaron, I would like you to go ahead and say your piece before I close this out here.
First off, Danny Moe is a really good modern women's wrestler.
Love Danielle.
And I feel like if we're going to talk about good women's wrestlers, we need to put her over.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And Hollywood Hailey J.
Joe Monroe,
Yeah.
if Joe Monroe
And
can manage to find a book talk about where his testicles have went off to and hid from, he can come back next week and he can try and convince us all that Paul Heyman is his great messiah, when in reality, Paul Heyman just screwed over everybody that worked with him. He took the bag and ran. Just like Joe Monroe is doing. Yeah, we've got shirts and coffee cups available, but where does that money go? It ain't going to my pocket. It ain't going to Tan's pocket. Pretty sure it's going to Joe's.
Well,
You cut
Aaron-
me off,
oh,
Dave. How about this?
and again,
Real. Dave's.
and he's gone. Folks, Joe Panther, Superfly Johnny Lee, I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. I am Just Tan Credible, Notorious ATB's co-host from TL5 Wrestling. It was great to meet you guys. I hope to see you guys again. And thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Joe Monroe podcast, or show, excuse me. And we'll see you next week.
See you later, guys.